from the prior year. Year to date, we're at $1,229,940 compared to $1,201,193, so a $28,747 increase there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, August, the month of August?
Yeah,
It'll be the tax collected in August, so
yeah, so what,
attribute that maybe Harding people
comes
moving
Students
in,
coming
hanging out
back,
longer,
getting
and eating out a little more.
but still compared to last year,
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
comparatively, it's
that's
still quite
dramatic.
a large jump.
yeah,
We'll take it.
wow.
But overall, we sent out the audit letters to 3 taxpayers last month, 2 restaurants, 1 hotel. Sent out 2 clearance letters, and then our third one, I guess, we have not received a response from. It's also in the process of shutting down, so kind of curious what y'all want to do there as far as how to proceed.
Hi.
I'll turn it over to Bob.
No, without identifying anybody specifically, one of the facilities for whom an audit letter was provided has indicated we're trying, in the process of working with the inspection department with respect to the licensing aspect of this. As you may recall, the ordinances that create the administrative part of the A&P Commission provide that upon the sale of a business, the tax liability for the prior business will also attach as a lien, can attach as a lien to the equipment in inventory of the purchasing entity. So the conundrum that Mr. Lancet and I have is that there's been a request for records. That request was rebuffed, and so in the event that a new operator comes in, we're trying to determine what the proper assessment of collection of that tax would be, so that we can try to enforce what this commission and the city's rules are with respect to those. And so what we're asking for is a little bit of guidance on this, because of course, as you know, we don't want to get in the way of new business, but we do want for the businesses that are in this community to comply and to remit those funds that were collected from the sale of those goods or those services in the case of a hotel. The real question we have is, do we want to compel performance for prior acts, or do we want to try to work on a go forward basis with a new operator, at least in the short term? I do think we need to probably move more quickly in the future with respect to some of these folks who, for which we have legitimate questions, but I don't want to waste the commission's money unnecessarily with enforcement actions and things like that. So again, what I am asking, and again, I want to be clear, I would expect this to be a dialogue, and we don't have to resolve this completely today. But I know that Mr. Lancet and I would like a little bit of guidance on what we want to do. We want to look retrospectively and try to engage in the utmost enforcement actions, which is permitted. But we want to try to work on a go-forward basis to seek compliance in the future, at least with this specific instance. I can provide more detail. I'm not trying to speak obliquely, but I mean, I also want to be respectful.
Have we confirmed that they did collect? I mean, they've been before this commission before. They were collecting the tax, so they have kept tax proceeds.
I'm not sure, but they engaged in sales, and from that, a portion of those sales were the A&P tax.
Right. Yeah, and they've provided monthly A&P tax remittances, via the online system and made payments. We're not even saying they've done anything wrong. We just don't know. We don't have any records to prove, to verify the filing is all that we requested on that.
And we think we can get records, but I think it's going to take effort to do that. And that's going to result in delay and potential delay in the new operator. And so, what I think that, and what Mr. Lance and I have discussed, is trying to stay more proactive when we see patterns that we think that are going to be potential sources for abuse. And that's going to have to be something that we're going to have to work on together to get that done. There are certain things that we can see now in retrospect that will probably red flags.
Based on the last time that they remitted A&P payment, do we know how many months they are missing payment to us?
They
Possibly.
filed 1 0 month back in June, and then, which they were in operation then, so that's.
And
has there been any correspondence with the business owner? I mean, or are they basically just non-responsive?
No, we reached out to them again last week, to say, hey, pass the deadline, this goes to commission next week, that has to be discussed and figure out the next steps. You know, if you can just get us these records, you know, we can just check the box and move on if it all ties out. Crickets.
Well, that's unacceptable. I mean,
I agree.
So if that's the case, then does the commission wish for us to go ahead and pursue enforcement action against that, and to try to do so with respect to the entity that is the success, has successor liability?
I think on Bob, just on a success or business, right? I think as a Cersei, I think we invite new business in town, right? As a new owner, I think if somebody done mistake, I think we should not be punished the new owner, right? I think, but at least I think some other city like a state, right? When you transfer a business license, they ask for the clearance of the tax paid, right? So if there's something, when they come to get business license, we can educate the new owner that make sure that entity has paid the tax, get clearance letters, at least they know that there's not a lot of liability for a previous, but like you says, we have to be easy on a new owner because sometimes it's hard for that previous owner taking liability because he got nothing to do with it, you know.
I want to expand on what Mr. Patel said for those of you who may not be familiar. If y'all are all familiar with the process that DF&A employs, and our ordinance is very similar to the statute, but it's almost word for word, similar to the statute that DF&A employs. And what the DF&A statute says, which is similar to ours, is that when you acquire a business, then that unpaid tax is a lien upon the improvements or the fixtures and equipment, or the equipment and inventory, excuse me, so that it provides successor liability. We have the ability to do that under our ordinance as well, in the context of successor liability provision of our ordinance. The idea being that, you know, so, and we've done this before in the context of a business in a prior business, and they ended up filing bankruptcy. It was a big mess. We chased it for some time, and it was at least a regional chain restaurant. Now, let's talk about this, and the process that DF&A has is that when you apply, because they track things by address, if there's a bait shop at 123 4th Street that failed to remit sales and use tax to the state of Arkansas for a period of time, and they close down, well, then there's an unknown amount of unpaid sales tax liability for that facility. If I want to go in there and open a muffler shop or some other a Napa store that sells things that would be subject to sales and use tax, they will often deny my permit application and say, no, you've got to take care of the prior owner's sales and use tax liability, which they won't tell me because it's protected information. And so, again, what I don't want to see the commission doing, and I think that what the consensus that we've received in the past is that the commission doesn't want to be in the business of prohibiting a truly new operator not using the same assets, not using the same sort of business in that, so my Napa store that moved into the old bait shop at 123 4th Street is not the continuation of the old business. So again, I think that we can all agree to a consensus on that. I think that the trouble is that when it appears to, at least an outside viewer, that it is a continuation of the existing business, that it's using the same equipment and inventory, that could be a different story. And Mr. Patel indicated that he wanted to provide a clean break so that we could, on a go-forward basis, try to seek compliance rather than a retroactive punishment, not even punishment, retroactive enforcement. Thank you. But again, I think I heard Mr. Howell say that we need to, at least in the instances where it appears to be a continuation of the existing business, to at least make an effort to get those records so that we can understand what actually happened.
we can't have people just saying,
Forget it.
Yeah.
we're not gonna do it, and just walking out the door. We can't have that as a commission. And so, whatever we need to do to get those records, so we at least know.
It's ready to go.
Okay.
Thank you. I wanted to get some consensus from the commission. I just wanted to get some consensus from the commission. And I'll also visit after this meeting with the inspection department with respect to the permitting issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Got anything else, Tim?
That's it for today.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, BB billboard sign renewal. Michelle?
All right, so believe it or not, it's been a year since we got that billboard in BB. As a reminder, that's that double stack board that's a left-hand read that we've been changing out for the events. So, wanted to hear from you guys if you're interested in renewing that. I think it's been very beneficial, both for just the Experience Cersei billboard, but then also the vinyls that we've changed out for the events. So a couple things to consider. So the board is $1,200 per cycle. There's 13 cycles in a year because they count it in weeks, not months. So just keep that in mind. However, last year we paid the full amount up front, and so they gave us one cycle free. So they are willing to do that again this year if we'd like to do that. The vinyl cost is $1,200. The current Experience Cersei vinyl is still in good enough shape that we can continue using that. So I've only budgeted for one vinyl change as far as from an Experience Cersei perspective. I don't want to leave the same artwork up too much, but we can use it some next year. One thing that is a little bit different, last year they said they were fine with putting old vinyl back up. And then on the back end, they did that, but then they tried to charge us a fee for it. And I was like, no, we didn't talk about that. So they did not do that this year. They are going to do it next year. So it's $500 to take down the vinyl and put the new vinyl up. So it's basically half the price to use an existing vinyl. I think that's totally fair cost. I was kind of surprised they weren't going to charge us in the first place because they do have to send crews out. And the largest expense for them is changing it out, not actually printing the vinyl. So just keep that in mind that when we pay for a new vinyl, there's no additional cost, but to put an old vinyl back up, it will be $500. Just keep that in mind. That's a little bit different.
So you're talking a total of $1,700, if my math is correct, for changing and then changing it back to the old one. Putting a new one up, then changing it back to the old one.
Yeah, if it's not changing it to a new board, new vinyl.
Right.
So last year we went from the May vinyl directly to 4th of July. There was no in between. So then there wouldn't be a cost.
Right.
If that makes sense. So basically what I'm looking at is, okay, hang on, one more thing. So last year we had the events pay for the vinyl. The only time that didn't happen was in May because we put 3 different events up there. One thing to consider is for us to go ahead and pay for the vinyl for the major events. That way we don't have to coordinate with the event planners to pay for it because at the end of the day it's kind of coming out of what we're paying for anyway. So I think it's something for you guys to consider, at least for major events. So if you remember, for like the Cinco de Mayo event, they had budgeted to pay for a vinyl, and then we said, hey, we're going to pay for it because we're going to put 3 events up there. So what I would recommend doing is for our major events, which would be Holiday of Lights, events in May. I don't know if all 3 of those are still happening, but I'm assuming at least 2 of those will happen. 4th of July, Get Down Downtown, and Holiday Lights. Did I say Holiday Lights twice? Depending on what time of year we're talking. Holiday Lights could be at the beginning or end. So 1, 2, 3, 4 vinyls. I think we should consider just including in our expense because we know that's going to change. And then we're not relying on the event coordinators to send us the vinyl. We did run into that at some points was we really wanted to get it changed, but we didn't have the artwork ready. And so then that would just be all of our responsibility to make sure, obviously show it to them and have them included. But then that way we're not having to rely on them to get us the artwork because they were paying for it. So let's look at the cost total. So if the events pay for the vinyl, which is still, if you guys want to do that, that's fine. We're looking at $21,500 with, that's the 13 cycles, the changing the vinyl one time for Experience Cersei, and then the vinyl changes that I calculated for when we put Experience Cersei back up. If we pay for those vinyls for the major events, we're looking at $25,100 for the billboard. And that's all considering that you guys, if you do want to do this again. Questions or thoughts?
Tim, is there a way for us, one thing I don't wanna do is add additional cost to what we're doing. If we give someone $50,000 for an event and then we pay for their billboard, now it's really $56,000 that we've given. Is there a way to account for that when we give them the funds? If, let's say it's $50,000, if we take that $6 directly off the top, we're paying for it, and then they get the remainder of that, of those funds.
Well, as long as we know there's a vinyl involved that needs to be put up on that billboard, then we can account for that and take it off the ground.
I mean, does everybody agree? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
So my thought is that before you approve a request, just keep that in mind, because there's other expenses from a marketing perspective that we're spending on that event. You know, obviously part of my cost, my agency expenses for creating all the content to help promote the events, technically is an expense of the event, even though we're taking that on. We boost their content. We do Good Morning Arkansas segments. There's lots of things that we do to support our events that we don't directly take out. I think you should just take that into consideration when you get a request and there's a section for marketing. Then let's be really clear what that marketing's for, because we're already doing X, Y, and Z. So what things in addition to what we're doing are you guys doing?
Well, I'd like to see a breakdown of exactly what we're doing for each event, so that we have a clear picture of how much we're paying for each event. Because I think if I'm understanding you correctly, we're actually spending more money on the events than what we're given.
Not necessarily, because you have to consider that we're promoting the event as a way to promote Cersei, but we're not taking those dollars and spending it on their event page. It's all through Experience Cersei. So like, we're not taking those dollars to build a website that's for their event, say Get Down Downtown, or for Beats and Eats. They have their own Facebook page. We're not managing that page or running ads through that page. We're just supporting them and help promoting them while promoting Cersei has great events. So, I mean, I guess it's how you look at it, but a large portion of our content throughout the year, not the largest portion because we're doing restaurants and things, all kinds of things happening, but probably our biggest months as far as engagement is when there's events going on. So,
What
I mean,
we're really
it's,
saying is like the control of the timing of what's being produced on the vinyl and when it's being put up, and is Experience Cersei A&P gonna be in control of those, or are we gonna put that on the different events?
or
you know?
responsible might be a better
Yes.
word.
Yeah,
Who's responsible for it?
That's so nice of you to say that.
Just saying.
But at the same time, I mean, it's
But
gonna
it's
cost
cost
us.
too,
It's
yeah.
gonna cost us, that's what I'm looking at is.
No, it's both, yeah.
You know, are we driving our cost up? I mean, our dollars have shrunk.
Yeah,
So we just need to watch those and make sure we're doing as much as we can with those dollars. I just don't wanna see it eventually get out of hand beyond what we can see, and all of a sudden we look back one day and go, God, we're spending this much money.
yeah.
Yeah.
So on that same question, Chris, I think the location of the billboard, right? I think it's by exit 2931, somewhere like that.
29,
Because I-
Yeah, you're right.
I go lot,
Yeah, it's the-
I seen
yeah.
it. So our purpose is to bring the people in Cersei, right? So I'm looking at it as a travelers, right? If I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna take exit 28. There is no restaurant, right? If I'm gonna stay at a hotel, I'm gonna take exit 28 in BB, right? So my thinking, if people pass BB, they don't have a choice, they're gonna come to Cersei. My opinion, if you wanna wisely use that money, you should be using that outside somewhere, then people know what we're doing in Cersei. So I think that location and what we're doing is waste of money. I think the digital, what you're doing, you can measure, right? You can even target the area. You can say, hey, there is a holiday of light, let me target Jonesboro. You can particularly target Jonesboro
Sure.
people and know what we're doing. So my opinion, I think, nowadays, even the study shows, AAA study shows, the Arkansas.com study shows, the billboard, yeah, it's still value, but it's very little, 5 to 8%. So 90% is waste of money now. So I think, I highly suggest, I think we should not even renew that billboard. I think the location of the billboard and what we try to achieve, I think is not, we're not getting message out.
So I think I totally understand your thought process on that and appreciate that. I think there's multiple goals that we're trying to reach here. I think that there is a lot of traffic that travels through there, that we're building a brand impression with, that Searcy is a quality place to stay, to come visit, you know, that we have events here. We have to get people thinking about Searcy for all of those things. Maybe they don't make the decision to stop that exact time, but maybe on the way back through they make that decision to stop, or maybe they do. People make last minute decisions so much now lately. I mean, people, they don't make commitments ahead of time. They see something and they stop and do it. That billboard is not necessarily getting you to turn right at the next exit. It's building brand awareness. Also, we have to think about a large portion of the people that come into Searcy live within a radius of Searcy. And so while yes, there are travelers that may come through a couple times a year, I believe we really need to invest in people who live within a radius, who may choose Searcy for Friday night dinner multiple times a week, or to come for a weekend or whatever, and they're not so far out of the city that they're just traveling through. So while the strategy that you're talking about may need to be a little bit different, I think there's still benefit to having that billboard, because there's that image and awareness that's being built. I've had so many people tell me that they've seen the billboard.
Is there any, I've heard Placer ID talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Will Placer ID be able to give us any insight into the effectiveness of a billboard, such as with hotspots and travel times and places people are coming from? Will it give us any insight?
I would say that would probably be a little bit of a stretch to really have any insight, but what it will tell us is where people are coming from.
Yeah.
And so then we'll know how many people that drove past that area stopped in Searcy. But I think that would be a little bit hard to say the effectiveness of the billboard was only based on people who passed the billboard and then stopped that time. Because what we heard from hotel owners is that when we had that meeting last year, is that we have a lot of people who come through consistently, like they make the same trip every year or multiple times a year, and they will stop in Searcy, but they may stop in Cabot. And so the thought would be those people who maybe had decided to stop in Cabot or somewhere else, to start building the awareness of, hey, Searcy's a great place to stop, so when they're coming through those regular trips. But Placer AI that data does tell you the original zip codes, and so I think that will be helpful for traveling population as far as stopping in hotels, but also for events. Like, it'll be interesting to tell us, do certain events really only draw local traffic, or where are they really coming from?
Well, and with historical view too, if you go before the time that you had billboards to now, you can say, well, shoot, this one in Benton that we put up, you know, all of a sudden we're getting more from that zip code. I mean, it may not be dramatic, but you might be able to see that. I don't know. I like the billboards as a piece of an overall strategy to flood the state with the activities of Searcy. Like, I think people are gonna see that in different ways. Everybody travels on 57. That is, I mean, that's how you're gonna find Searcy. So if you're on 57 and you see us in Benton Bryant, and then you see us in BB, and even if you don't stop in Searcy that time, you're seeing messaging over and over and over. And I don't know, I think with all the things that we have going on, I got a lot of comments about the billboard that had the 3 events on one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people mentioned that one because it was showing how much activity that we have. Hey, look, there's these 3 things in 1 month,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
So that's a good point too. We do have the board in Saline County, and then we have the board in Jacksonville. This one we got earlier, so it's why it's
Yeah.
up for renewal. They'll all be in, when we look at the 2026 marketing plan, which we plan to do next month. This is just the one that it has a little bit of an early renewal. That Jacksonville board I think is awesome, and one of the things I might talk to you guys about, I know we can't spend too much money, but maybe considering changing that one at least a couple times, and we don't change the one in Jacksonville quite as much as we do the one in BB, because that double stack allows us to give kind of a better message. But that, if you haven't seen that Jacksonville board, you've probably not been to Little Rock, because it is in your face when you come around.
You can't miss it. The first
It's a
time-
great location.
Yeah, the first time I was driving, I was like, I'm like, it's there,
Yeah.
and you can't miss it. You
Yeah.
just couldn't miss it.
So
I am still kind of in the camp though of having, I realize the the events that we put on the board, a lot of those marketing dollars are also coming from us. But I kinda like them being responsible for providing artwork and saying, yes, I want to participate in this.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that too. I just wanted to consider the option of, you know, we pretty much know what our major, there's gonna be other events that come up and, you know,
Yeah.
it's a conversation, but, we pretty much know what our major events are that really reflect well on Cersei, and I think have become staples for people outside the community. They know that we're doing those. So just wanted to kind of present that as an option to consider, but it may not be what you guys wanna do.
Well, I'd have to agree. I think, by having them pay for the vinyl, it's a buy-in on their part.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's a little less from us, but it shows us that they're invested as well.
Okay, that's totally fine with me. As far as that board, are there other thoughts, or, I know we've heard your concerns, or just, does anybody else have an opinion?
I think, I know we're trying everything new, you know, I'm not trying to say anything you're doing wrong or whatever. I think we need to look at the bigger picture for Cersei, right? I think it's always pro and cons, right? Yeah, something, if something I don't like, it doesn't mean other people like, right? Example, I think look at the bigger picture, I think, what we try to achieve, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It doesn't mean, you know, some of them people serve on a different committee, at a different state, different organization in town. It doesn't mean I serve on there, but anything that help that organization to get their vision, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think, Chairman brought good point, the cost, right? $25,000, I think, that $25,000, I think you directly, you put some kind of impression, you can measure, you can directly see, you made money from that $25,000. Yeah, this one is right, yeah, you can see the billboard and everything, so, I know, still going back to that, you know, end of the day, what commission made the decision, I'm fine, but I think, you know, study shows, I think, within a 12 or 13 mile of the destination, if you do anything, it doesn't work. If you want to spread the word, you're supposed to do, like, I agree with you, you say people make last minute decision, you know, like Harding Homecoming this week. Usually we get sell out a year in advance, we still have a room because people know, last minute you book, you get reasonable rate, or maybe hotel probably gonna drop the rate and all that, the
Yeah.
strategy change. But I think that what we try to achieve, that's what I'm not getting, you know what I mean? You're saying, we wanna get the word out from the Cersei to come, and you said the awareness, you're doing great work. You got a website going on, you're doing the Facebook and everything, and majority of people now, if you do it, then they pop up on the phone, you probably get more awareness than people
Mhm.
close to the destination.
All right.
Thoughts?
Anybody have any more questions for Michelle?
What was our cost last year on it, and what's our cost compared to the other two billboards that we have?
Ugh, why'd you ask me that?
Sorry.
I don't know.
Come back,
This guy does finance.
come back.
Yeah, TBD.
Michelle, when do we have to know?
We need to go ahead and renew it, because we won't be able to do Holiday of Lights if we don't vote on it today. That
Who
will
is
be
it
the
with?
next-
Is it with Lamar?
It's, Ashley.
Is it what the other two are with?
No,
They're different.
the one in Sling County is with a local company there, that I can't think of their name at this exact moment, but the other, both of those are Ashley, yeah. Those are the two that we have on this side are Ashley. And we've looked at Lamar, they just didn't really have, because I use Lamar mostly for all my other clients, but they didn't really have any good options.
Is there price breaks that you get for using the same company in different, or not really?
They would, that Jacksonville board, I think because we got it before they even put it up, we probably got a really good rate on it, because they won't even do the, if we pay for the full 12 months, the discount. I tried to negotiate that, and it's just a really good board. And the closer you get to Little Rock, the more expensive it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So, I've tried, the best I can get is we pay up front and we get one cycle free, which is a pretty good, it's a decent deal.
Yeah.
So, can we vote on this today, yes or no, or?
Yeah, we can vote on it. If someone will make a motion I would entertain a motion.
I'll motion that we keep the billboard.
I will motion, and we have the Anybody that wants to change out the vinyl, pay
Oh,
for
okay,
it.
let the events pay for the vinyl.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, I agree with Marco.
So then I'll second.
I think we go with the billboard and then paying to replace the vinyl, not the new vinyls.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Got a motion by Tommy to pay for the billboards and renew the vinyls. Got a second by Marco. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Got one opposed.
Okay.
Motion carries. Thank you.
One more thing and then I'll leave you guys alone. I'm gonna send you, I didn't wanna mess up their, computer, setting up my computer, but y'all remember for last year, we talked about for 2026, creating a shop section of experiencecercy.com. That is ready. So I'm gonna send it to you guys to look at. I wanted to have it ready for the holidays, so we're gonna do some messaging, in December to try to drive people there for holiday shopping. So now on the website, we'll have eat, stay, explore, and shop. So just another way to try to drive traffic to Cersei.
Right. Thanks, Michelle. Next up, funding request, CK Rodeo, $6,000.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm Holly from CK Rodeo, Holly Kirk, and CK Rodeo, I'll give you a little history. Clyde Kirk started it in 1978. That's my husband's, or was my husband's father. We have the CK Rodeo Arena. It's always been located right outside of Cersei off of Georgia Ridge Road. And from 1978 to about 2000, he produced, I said hundreds, but it's probably thousands of rodeos. He was really big into the Arkansas Cowboys Association and Arkansas Rodeo Association. And he was also your White County Fair rodeo producer for years too. He retired from producing rodeos in 2000, but as a family, we have all continued to compete from anywhere from the professional level to the amateur level. So when Clyde passed, we got together and said, hey, we would like to start CK Rodeo again. And we rebuilt the arena right outside of town, and we've started having rodeos. So May through June, we have rodeos there, and y'all, we have about 2,000 contestants through that time that comes, and they come from all over Arkansas, Missouri. We've had contestants from Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Tennessee. We've had even people, because we have a large following on our social media, come from Missouri, or not Missouri, Michigan, and stop and stay in Cersei just because they wanted to come see our rodeo. We're going to continue those rodeos, and our goal was, for some reason in the Arkansas Cowboys Association and the ARA, they moved the rodeos from central Arkansas to like Viola and northern Arkansas or western Arkansas. So our goal when we started again was to get them back here in this area. So last year we had a chance, or this year, we had a chance to get the New Year's rodeo. It's always been in Viola. We moved it back to the White County Fairgrounds. And we had, and this is just contestants, you could probably triple this number come because their families come with them, but 185 contestants come to Cersei. And that was only with $1,200 added money. It was kind of last minute when we realized that we could have the rodeo and we could move it back here. So we were scrambling trying to get stuff together. This year, we would like to be able to start this way or there. We are moving the rodeo back here again. Although we've been asked, Viola's trying to get us back, and they have a nice indoor arena, and we can have it for free. And Bowdoin's trying to get us to go there in Harrisburg, because they all have really nice indoor arenas. But this is our hometown. I would rather we had thousands of people at our house. To the point, I told my husband, we're gonna have to buy new bleachers, because we couldn't, people had to bring lawn chairs and everything else, because we never dreamed our rodeos would get that big, but they are, and they're growing. So our goal is that we're just trying to move people back here. This is where we're from, this is where we grew up. We would love to see this community benefit from all the contestants coming in. We do stuff at our rodeos. My little girl, she has a popsicle lemonade stand. All the money that she raised with that, we put back into to Cersei, like food pantries, Angel Tree. We helped with Jacob's Place, and so we would love to see the community to grow from the rodeos and the contestants coming in, and we would love to see them moved back here. But that's what the $6,000. We wouldn't. We're still going to have to pay our help or our labor. So that's going to be our gate fee, and then you get a stock charge. So we're not going to profit off any of it. We would just, for this rodeo, just like to see this area grow again. So that's why we're asking for that. Do you have any questions? And I have, this is just contestants only, but I can let you have it. This is where, because I went back in our records, that's where all of our contestants came from. And this is just the added money, because we have a cowboy church in Lynn that has us come. And so there's contestants on here, but you can like triple the numbers, which y'all can look and see if you'd like, on who all comes to the rodeos. But if you'll like, that's just contestants. Most of the time it's a family of 4 coming through the gate. So you can triple those numbers, and that's how many people come in.
Can I ask you a couple of questions? One, how much is it costing you to rent the White County Fair Arena?
It's $700 for the day.
$700? And how much money do y'all charge at the gate for?
I try to only charge $5 per person, because I would like to make it affordable. I know we have a family of 5. So as contestants, when we go to compete, and you're looking at a family of 5, and then on top of entry fees, or just going to watch a rodeo, if I get charged more than $5, which ACA rules, contestants can only be charged $5. But like the family members could be charged more. So Jasper, Arkansas has a big rodeo. It costs us 1 year like $40 to get in the gate. That's too much money for a family to have to pay to get in the gate and then go compete. So we only charge $5. And 2, it helps like the communities that would, or the people around this community. I don't want them to have to pay $50, $60 to come watch a rodeo.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have to pipe up. In my humble estimation, if the city of Cersei wanted to engage in some true advertising and marketing, try to amplify what goes on at the facilities that are operated by the White County Fair Board on a weekly basis would be money well served. I mean, you could almost have to vote a social media coordinator and a separate billboard just for those activities. The times I've been out there to see my wife's cousin, who comes from eastern Oklahoma, in his not inexpensive trailer. First of all, every one of those people comes from out of town. I mean, almost all of them. Second, it would be fantastic if people in this community really knew how many events and how many people were brought out of town for each one of those events. It's truly staggering.
Yeah, they got it going on.
I apologize, I didn't mean to take it from commission.
Just be careful on the car shows.
Touche.
Say. All right. Next up, thanks, Ms. Kirk, appreciate you coming. Yeah. Next up, funding request, First Robotics.
Good morning, my name is Todd Trauber. I'm the Regional Director for First Robotics. I am also a coach. I work with Team 3937 Breakaway. Cersei has 2 teams, one located out of the Academy as well as one located out of Cersei High School. The funding request is for $10,000 to support the 5th robotics tournament that we have hosted here in Cersei. First 2 years, in 22 and 23, were at the university. In '24, we moved to the beautiful Cersei Line Arena, and we've been blessed to be there for the last 2 years. With the anticipated changes to the flooring and the construction that's going on, we're unfortunately the university's been wonderful, but we're moving back to the university for a 1-year stint until the floor conditions can get settled, and then hopefully in '27 we'll be back at Cersei High School. This has been a wonderful event and a blessing for our community. We bring in 30 teams from, right now we have 7 states and a team from Turkey coming in. There's one more round, and so we anticipate a couple of teams from Mexico coming in as well to join us. But we are anticipating between 2,000 to 2,500 participants coming in, all except for those 2 teams being local, staying in Cersei hotels and eating at Cersei restaurants.
Okay.
I believe that the information that we got, that their numbers are right on as far as people coming. I think I've heard that some place or AI information gives us, they're right on the money with the number of people that are attending.
An average team, so when we say there's 30 teams coming, last year we had a team of over 100 members, right? So we have teams that are as few as 15, but then teams for 50, 60. Our team at Breakaway, we have 32 students on the team. And then you gotta figure there's adults and there's families that come in. So it does really potentially bring in a significant revenue source during the 3rd week of March, right before that spring break kicks off for everybody. And so we welcome you all to come and to see us, but also we'd be grateful for your continued support.
The one thing I want to say, thank you for everything you do, because one thing positive about your organization, I remember a few years back, you started from $35,000 to $40,000 ask.
Yes.
And I think the goal for the commission is always we wanted to help you.
Yes.
And I think you try to achieve that goal because now you're asking less money. I think it's less burden. Plus, I think the real effect we'll see. You know what I mean? Facebook, I see at my personal hotel that how many people come and stay. So
Yes.
I just want to say thank you to how you bringing the event up here and less burden to the commission and taxpayer is good.
Thank you. It's always a challenge as the regional director. Of course, my home is here. This is my community. It's easier for me not to have to travel, but going to Little Rock, going to the pull right now is immense to go up to Northwest Arkansas. It's real. But as long as I'm here, and as long as we continue to get funding from local organizations, I'm not leaving. The draw, of course, for Northwest Arkansas is the money, the significant technological base that's up there, as well as just the draw of money. So we're really fighting hard to keep those costs and the ask low, and y'all been a blessing to us.
Yeah, I think the one good thing when we do a lot of marketing,
Yes.
sometimes it's positive, but sometimes it's negative too, because other city looking at what Cersei bringing in and they're approaching you to take their dollar there, you know.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, we want to keep it here. Y'all do a great job. I've been to a handful of them, and I can tell you, it is a production,
It
buddy,
is.
and it is impressive. And we want to be a hub for this for sure.
Last year.
And we have the facility to do
We
so.
do. Last year, we had 7 of the top teams in the world coming to Arkansas. Everybody called it the Arkansas bloodbath because it was ridiculously competitive for an early season tournament. And of the teams at Arkansas, there were 6 teams on the finals of the World Championships.
It's awesome. Yep.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Todd.
sir.
Thank you.
Todd. Thank you.
Yeah, not Ted, yeah.
I got you.
All right, we're gonna switch gears here. We got a funding request for 4th of July. Then we're gonna follow it up with, yeah, that's right, yeah. My arrows are all confusing here.
Good morning. So on behalf of Creative Group Arkansas and Eats and Eats, we are coming to make a request for July 4th, 2026. It's a big year for the United States, being the 250th birthday of the nation. And there's a lot of planning going on across the nation, lots of planning in the state of Arkansas. And so we are working to get ahead and booking finding and securing artists, also fireworks, as you know, there's a lot of competition in doing that. And so we're making our request a little earlier this year to get ahead of that. We also are actually asking for a little increase in this year because of the cost of being able to host these events. And with this one being a larger event with the 250 going on, we're asking for $65,000. In the past, you've been graciously supporting the event with $55,000, so just $10,000 increase with that. This will be the 6th event for Cersei Beats and Eats and Creative Group in the city, rallying around July 4th. And as we wait for the event center to be completed, Lord willing, that's in 27, we are partnering with the White County Fairgrounds, hosted there this year for 26. And I'm really excited about that partnership as it provides some shade in different venues, provides some nice restrooms, an indoor area for vendors to be able to set up and display, lots of parking opportunity. And so we're really excited about that. And also, as the presenter spoke about the rodeo coming at New Year's, one of our ideas we're looking at is using that resource of the rodeo arena and hosting it for July 4th rodeo. You know, still in some discussion and works as a lot of logistics that we have to go around when it comes to rodeo and the needs there. But as in the years past, vendors, food trucks, bounce houses, great artists to come in, that's still a discussion. And then wrapping up with our large firework display, and then a special surprise, and I'm gonna keep it just at that, a special surprise that we're working on, as things are still in the books, he's still working on that. In 25, when we were able to use the Placer platform, we had around 12,000 that were at the event with 33 zip codes that were collected at the time. And 25, the event cost $87,000 to be able to host this last year. And sponsorships we were able to raise was $31,000 outside of the A&P needed to help host the event.
Was the majority of that attendance for the fireworks?
You know, as in other events that we have in the community, a lot of our attendees come for earlier on to get some family members and for food and some of the local people supporting. And then the artists, whoever the artist is that we're able to bring in, there's a large following for that. And then the fireworks are the big hit at the end of the evening. And with that, we have people that are either, maybe they come to see the artist and leaving because they can see the fireworks from a larger distance, or some from the area that are showing up later that we haven't been able to count, which was why Placer is such a large influence in giving some demographics, because it will be able to pick up even those that are parked within a mile of the area to know that they came to the event. And so we have people that are parked in different locations to be able to see that. So I'm not able to count them because of the distance of where they are.
Have y'all done any logistics on the fireworks out at the fairgrounds? As far as location?
Right, so we're actually meeting in 2 weeks to do a physical mapping of what we're able to do location-wise, and be able to do the fireworks off-site, but in that general area around the fireworks, and being able to look at where the trees are and the buildings are, so everybody has a good view.
And I understand it may be a different fireworks vendor this year.
Yes, we've secured a different vendor, and really excited about what they're able to provide. And we've had good reports from other organizations that have used them in the past, so we're excited about that.
So you said you used Placer to decide how many you guys had in 2025,
Right, when we had access to that.
and you don't have access anymore?
Currently not.
Okay.
So, 2025 data, that's this year, right?
Yes.
In 25, right.
So we had access to this this year?
I think it ended right there at the end of the year.
I didn't know we had it.
So,
25.
do you have historical too? I'm just curious the trends in,
Yes, I can get you from what we did.
like,
We're able to-
just the number of people.
Right, we're able to, because we only used it for those 2 years.
Oh, gotcha.
24 and 25.
That would be helpful.
Do you remember what we funded last year?
It's 55.
55.
You know, physical.
Okay. You said the total cost was 85?
87.
87, okay, cool.
Are there any new events y'all are planning this year for the 250?
Well, when we were in planning this event, in the artist world, there's brackets of spending for events. So
Right.
there's a lower bracket in getting some new up-and-coming artists, and there's a small margin in there in getting some recognizable names if they're not already booked, or you end up spending more money to get some names that are already popular that have several albums out. And so in planning this event, we can either spend more on attractions, as we have in the Ferris wheel in the past, or spend more on the artist. And so we've worked hard the last 5 years to kind of balance that out, to bring in a larger name to attract more people into the event and into the city, or spending more on the larger attraction to be able to please the families and those that are coming in.
So y'all, I mean, y'all got some tenure now, obviously, we have some tenure on doing, 4th of July. I mean, have you, figured out what sets us apart in being able to draw people to Searcy instead of Heber or Conway or Cabot, wherever else, local? Just like, what is it? Is it they come for the fireworks, do we know any of that?
Well, there's a lot in that, and as Michelle has talked about in the past, our attracting our neighbors that are within the 12, 15, 30 mile radius. And so they aren't hosting those events. Searcy is, and we have the larger venues to be able to do that.
Yeah.
We have the restaurants to be able to house the food trucks if they choose to eat at the event. And it is relatively close in the timing to where I can come from Rosebud or Judsonia, or, Bradford and even further out. I can come in, enjoy Searcy and the festivities, and still be able to make it home. Or for those that are coming maybe to see family and staying in some hotels, they're able to do that during that, and that's what makes Searcy attractive. And just as you mentioned, the tenure that we have, and the advertising we're able to put out is, we're not needing to do as much out because people know, oh, Searcy is not hosting this great event annually.
Yeah.
One thing, God, positive thing, you started early, I think. You say $80,000 total, and I think we're asking 65, so it's almost 75% of the cost of the event. I think I love to see upside down, right? I think that time now came that we need to change that method, I think, because right now, we're almost 8, 9 months, so you can probably start marketing ahead of time, try to reach out, sponsorship, because every company try to budget their money this year. If you go ahead right now, and as we celebrate 250th Nathan's birthday, I think maybe some other vendor might give you more money. So I think if we like to see that trend of 25 to 75.
Right, and so in the need for this request earlier on is really deposits and securing our fireworks venues and attractions to be able to do that. Further questions today?
Anybody have any questions?
I did have one question. So next month's meeting is scheduled for the week of Thanksgiving. Will it still be the 24th?
No.
You bump that to that?
Well, I mean, will everybody be here? That's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving.
We'll, to be determined, but
That's fine. I just, any questions arise, I want to make sure that one of us is here.
It will either be the 18th or the 25th, I would think.
Thank you.
all right. Next up, Dr. Burks. Beautification Committee for flags.
Thank you. I'm privileged to serve as co-chairman of the Searcy Beautification Committee with Mark and Bennett. And we're coming today to ask for some consideration for new entry flag system for Searcy. As you come in to Searcy, a lot of people come in on Main Street by the airport. They come in off what is exit 42 on Main Street. And what we're proposing is to do something. This is an aerial view of that area of the city. And as you know, we've been involved with beautification in many different areas. I go back a number of years to when we were concerned with the downtown area, holiday lights, and a number of other things. And is that we're very welcoming when people first come into Cersei. So what we're proposing, you see a double-sided pole, is that we would put poles up on both sides of Main Street as people come in. They would begin right there at the beginning of when you first come on off I-57. You come on to Main Street, go all the way to Booth. They would basically be wherever you now have an energy pole, and we can't put flags on their poles. So we put up our own pole. It'd be a 16-foot high pole. That's a great view of how this might look. So you see the double-sided banner on a 16-foot black pole, and the banner would be 7 feet deep, so it would be big enough so that as you're driving by probably at 45 miles an hour, that it's gonna catch your attention, and we would be able to advertise different things about Cersei. One of the things that I've always liked is having one of those be the American flag, and it just makes a dramatic statement in and of itself. Then you could have on the other side, you would have a sign that would say Experience Cersei, or maybe it would be Holiday of Lights, or maybe it would be the July 4th celebration for our 250th anniversary. There'd be different things that could be advertised on it, but it would just make a statement. We have those at Harding all around the campus, the double-sided banner. Now, they're shorter because it's more of a walking type experience. This is more designed for cars that will be driving by, but it would grab everyone's attention, and we think it would just be a really great way to welcome people into Cersei. And the banners could be changed perhaps up to 4 times a year. You might leave one of them on, you might leave the American flag there, but you would change the other one to fit. For example, at the Christmas season, you might have Holiday of Lights, etc. And so this is what we're proposing, is something that right now Main Street is not cluttered. It's not, in this particular area, there's not a lot of things there. And so we think it presents a really